You know, Snoop Dogg said it best. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Drop, the newest film from director Christopher Landon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we have a new film from the director of Happy Death Day and Freaky. This movie, Drop, is about a woman, a mother named Violett, who goes on her first date in many years after an abusive relationship. She meets a person named Henry, who she's been talking to for quite a while. And during their kind of, first date dinner, she gets messages in the form of drops from this thing called Let's Play, and she finds out she's being targeted by an unknown assailant who wants her to do something pretty much to kill Henry because he knows and has done some stuff. So she tries every form of factor. You've seen these movies before. Think of like Carry On and stuff like that, where the protagonist is put in a situation that you have no idea how they're going to get out of, but you know by the end that something's going to be resolved. So she is put in that situation. It involves her cell phone, and everything starts to get out of whack. It starts to become very apparent that it is very dangerous, and it could involve her children, including her sister and her son. So therefore, she has to do what the cell phone says. Okay, so with a film like this, I was looking forward to this film because I think Christopher Landon, who is the director, is very competent as a thriller/horror director. I think Happy Death Day and its sequel, as well as Freaky, though are not original movies because they've been done a billion times before, are very entertaining movies. I think they had the right cast in it. I think they are just the right amount of silly and preposterous. And so going into Drop, I knew this movie was going to be one, preposterous, and I knew it was going to be silly and over the top. So you know what? I was looking forward to that. But the real question remains is, can Meghann, Fahy, and Brendan Sklenar attempt to compensate for a script that's written by the Truth or Dare and Fantasy Island and remake people? So yeah, there's that. And the question and the honest answer to that question, I honestly think this movie is not Christopher Landon's best movie. I think it stretches credulity and logic and is very preposterous. But I cannot not say I didn't have fun watching this movie. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. It's a movie that takes a lot of leaps of logic. It has a protagonist that has a very disturbed back history that has to be put in another very disturbed situation. It has a guy who is very handsome and attractive and, is questioning whether this woman is insane or not, even though they've been talking for 3 months. And it has a scenario where it's in a high-rise building, on top of the building, in a restaurant that's very posh with some over-the-top silly characters that are supporting. And Meghann, Fahy, and of course Brendan Sklenar, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his names, do a pretty competent job. They know what movie they're in, they know what they're working with, and I think they run it with it. I really do. I think, watching Meghann Fahy as Violett kind of have to deal with the scenario of the phone and the drop messages and stuff like that, how she has to deal with trying to save her son in a very unwinnable situation, how she has to, as you see from the trailer, have to kill this guy who she has had a relationship kind of for the last 3 months. I think it's a movie that really knows what it's doing, and if you can accept that for what it's worth, I think you'll enjoy it for the things that it's doing. I think it has a very fun kind of cadence to it. I think when the reveals happen, I think they're very, seen it before, done it before, but I think I think the fact that it's taking a 2025 approach with the kind of cell phone and the overlay of the messages and how it is very silly, and nobody would want to put up with this situation if they were like the the date of the woman that is going very kind of losing her mind because of the situation. But as it moves along, as it portrays its kind of competence and what it's trying to do, I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining. I think Christopher Landon is a very competent director. I think he knows what he's doing when it comes to these types of films. Would I like to see him do something different? Absolutely. I would like to see him do a comedy. I would like to see him do a drama. I would like to see him do, something else. But I think for a director like Landon, I think he's found his groove, and I think it's these types of films. He co-wrote Hard Eyes at the beginning of the year, and I think that's as silly and stupid as that movie is, it knows what it is, and it's a very good slasher film. And it's the same thing here. This movie is a thriller suspense film with a person in an unpredictable and unwinnable situation that has to find herself out and try and figure out how that works. And I think it works for what it's worth. Just don't go into this movie thinking, oh, this is going to be the most competent movie you've ever seen, because if you don't stretch the logic, you will not like this movie. That's just how it rolls. So overall, I enjoyed this movie. It's not the best movie I've seen this year. It won't be the best movie I see this year. It won't be a top 10, but I think for a movie that is an hour and 40 minutes, I think it is definitely worth a watch. So it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's Drop from Christopher Landon. So there you go. Anyways, with that said, that is my take on Drop, now in theaters, or be in theaters very, very soon. Comments below, what's your favorite type of film where a person or individual gets put in a situation that they seemingly can't win? Think of, like I said, Carry On or this type of movie. And let me know what it is in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.